The Silent Twins, A Tale of Two Sisters. The story I'm about to tell you is one of the most peculiar cases in modern psychological history. A tale of two sisters whose bond transcended normal twin relationships and ventured into territory that both fascinated and disturbed those around them. This is the story of June and Jennifer Gibbons, known to the world as the Silent Twins. Born in 1963 to Caribbean immigrants living in Wales, June and Jennifer Gibbons appeared normal at birth. The identical twins were part of a loving family, with 3 other siblings, and their early years showed no indication of the strange path their lives would take. However, as they began to attend school, teachers and classmates noticed something unusual about the pair. The twins wouldn't speak, not to their teachers, not to their classmates, and barely even to their own family members. When they did communicate, it was only with each other, in a rapid-fire patois that nobody else could understand. This private language, later analyzed by linguists, was determined to be an accelerated version of Barbadian Creole, spoken so quickly it was unintelligible to others. The twins would stand perfectly still, faces blank, communicating in their secret tongue, moving in perfect synchronization, as if choreographed by an invisible hand. Their silence wasn't selective mutism in the traditional sense. They could speak, and they did speak, but only to each other. In public, they became almost catatonic, moving like mirror images of one another, their movements synchronized down to the smallest detail. If one lifted an arm, the other would do the same. If one stopped walking, the other froze in place. It was as if they were puppets controlled by the same strings. The girls' parents, concerned about their development, sought help from various doctors and specialists. The twins were separated and sent to different boarding schools in an attempt to force them to interact with others. The experiment failed miserably. Both girls became completely catatonic, retreating so far into themselves that they appeared almost lifeless. When reunited, they immediately resumed their exclusive relationship, shutting out the world even more determinedly than before. But behind their silent exterior, June and Jennifer were far from inactive. In their teenage years, they began to write prolifically, filling countless notebooks with stories, poems, and novels. Their writings revealed rich inner lives filled with dark fantasies and violent imagery. They self-published several novels through a mail-order press, including works like Pepsi-Cola Addict and The Pugilist. These works, while amateur in execution, showed remarkable imagination and a surprising grasp of adult themes. Their creative partnership, however, was marked by intense competition. Each sister desperately wanted to be a successful author, but neither could bear the thought of the other achieving success first. This rivalry would become a defining feature of their relationship. They were inseparable, yet locked in a perpetual battle for individuality. As they entered their teenage years, the twins' behavior began to take a darker turn. They started experimenting with alcohol and drugs, and their writings became increasingly violent and disturbing. Their isolation from the outside world, combined with their intense connection to each other, created a pressure cooker of emotions and desires that would eventually explode. In 1981, things came to a head. The twins embarked on a brief spree of vandalism and arson, setting fire to several buildings in their community. They were caught and arrested, but their behavior during the trial was as bizarre as ever. They remained completely silent, moving in their characteristic synchronized manner, their faces expressionless as they were sentenced to indefinite detention at Broadmoor Hospital, Britain's highest security psychiatric hospital. Broadmoor would become their home for the next 11 years. The institution, known for housing some of Britain's most dangerous psychiatric patients, seemed an extreme placement for 2 silent teenagers, but the authorities believed they posed a serious danger to themselves and others. Inside Broadmoor, the twins continued their silent communion, but something began to change in their relationship. During their time in Broadmoor, journalist Marjorie Wallace gained their trust and became one of the few people with whom they would communicate. Through their conversations with Wallace, a disturbing reality emerged. The twins had come to believe that for one of them to live a normal life, the other would have to die. They had become convinced that their bond was so powerful, so all-consuming, that it would destroy them both unless it was broken by death. Jennifer reportedly told Wallace, "I'm going to die. We've decided." When Wallace pressed for clarification, Jennifer explained that she and June had made a pact. Jennifer would sacrifice herself so that June could live a normal life. The statement was chilling, but at the time, it seemed like just another example of the twins' peculiar fantasies. In 1993, after years of therapy and good behavior, the twins were transferred to a more moderate clinic as a stepping stone to their eventual release. On the day of the transfer, something inexplicable occurred. Jennifer, who had been in perfect health, suddenly became unresponsive. By the time they reached the new clinic, she was running a high fever. Within hours, she was dead. The cause was determined to be acute myocarditis, an inflammation of the heart muscle. There was no evidence of foul play or suicide, yet the timing seemed too perfect to be coincidental. June, true to their apparent pact, began to speak and live a more normal life after Jennifer's death. She later told Wallace, "I feel free now, liberated, released from that dark force." She moved back to Wales, living near her parents, and began to integrate into society in ways that had seemed impossible when Jennifer was alive. The case of the silent twins raises profound questions about identity, individuality, and the nature of human connection. Their story suggests that the bond between twins can be both a blessing and a curse, a source of comfort and understanding, but also a potential prison. June and Jennifer's relationship went beyond normal sibling attachment, beyond even the special connection that twins often share, into something that seemed almost supernatural. What makes their story particularly haunting is the question of whether Jennifer's death was truly a sacrifice, a final act of love to free her sister from their shared prison, or whether it was simply a tragic coincidence. The twins had always believed that they couldn't both live normal lives, that their bond was too powerful, too all-consuming to allow them both to survive and thrive independently. Their case has become a fascinating study for psychologists, particularly those interested in twin relationships and attachment theory. The extreme nature of their bond, the way they created their own world, complete with its own language and rules, provides insight into the potential intensity of twin relationships and the complex dynamics of identity formation in identical twins. The silent twin story has inspired numerous books, documentaries, and even a feature film. Their life together and apart raises questions about the nature of identity, free will, and the power of human bonds. It challenges our understanding of normal social development and forces us to consider the fine line between unique connection and unhealthy codependence. June Gibbons continues to live in Wales, speaking normally and leading a quiet life. She has said that she still feels Jennifer's presence and sometimes talks to her, but the overwhelming, all-consuming nature of their relationship is gone. She has found her own voice, though it came at an unimaginable price. The story of the silent twins remains one of the most compelling and mysterious cases in psychiatric history. It's a testament to the complexity of human relationships and the sometimes thin line between extraordinary connection and dangerous obsession. Their story continues to fascinate and disturb, raising questions about the nature of identity, free will, and the power of human bonds that may never be fully answered. In the end, perhaps the most chilling aspect of their story is not the silence they maintained for so many years, but the words Jennifer spoke to Marjorie Wallace shortly before her death. "I've done my duty. I've done what I had to do. These words suggest a level of premeditation, of sacrifice, that transforms their story from merely unusual to truly tragic. The silence they maintained for so many years was finally broken, but the mystery of their relationship and Jennifer's death may never be fully understood.